Hey, it is January the 4th, 2018, and like I said, Chick-fil-A does not share or express any of the views that have been expressed in this series of videos. There's been a long series of videos. There's been a lot of details that we had to discuss, and I feel like it was very necessary to divulge all the details because, truth be told, we did not completely comprehend the situation before. Certainly I didn't. Before reading this article, I did basically know about this going on in society, but I didn't know to what extent it was happening in Silicon Valley. It's probably happening in the worst extent as far as industries here in America. More than likely. Even worse than Wall Street, even worse than all your athletes and celebrities and your politicians. It's probably worse in Silicon Valley. Because these people have money. Alright, we're discussing all the details, and I felt like that was definitely necessary. Alright, but at the same time, we're going to go ahead and just wrap it up in this last video because we can go ahead and summarize what we've taken in to this point. Go ahead and wrap it up in a big ball. First of all, of course, like I've mentioned before, this article does establish that women absolutely are in every way being oppressed, especially sexually, in Silicon Valley, right? And it's interesting because folks out of Silicon Valley love to tell us how we're oppressing women. They love to accuse us of exactly what they're doing, right? So we noticed that, and what the article fails to mention, what we're mentioning right here, that we know for a fact, 100% positive, that not only women are being abused, they are being abused the most, but men are also being abused and going flying under the radar. Children are absolutely being sexually abused by folks who are in every way secretive in nature about their sexual exploits. Meanwhile, they want to tell you they're being progressive. They want to tell you they're busting barriers down. They want to tell you, oh man, we're just geniuses. And that's why we're exploring our genius sexuality. All right. Meanwhile, yeah, the women are getting held down. There are some men being raped. There are children being raped. But that flies under the radar at this point in 2018. That hasn't hit the surface quite yet. We're talking about how it keeps down women, and it absolutely does keep down women. All right. We were discussing a scenario that has been cultivated for decades through propaganda, in which women are supposed to be attracted to effeminate men. Not only effeminate men, but awkward men who have no charisma, who are generally not built in any sort of physical way, who are not tall, who are not strong, things of this nature. They're being made and convinced that these men, these littler men, these more effeminate men, these men who claim to be feminists and they wear these sweaters, these men are actually better prospects because they're not so manly and they're not so filled with masculine toxicity. These nerdy men, and we've seen it in these 1980s movies. For example, probably the best example is Revenge of the Nerds. A lot of us are old enough to remember that movie. And I remember a specific part in which the popular cheerleader, she figures out that nerds are way better at having sex in a moon bounce than the athletes. And that's particularly the agenda that they try to drive home, is that these nerds, specifically as mentioned in the movie, are better sexually speaking, as far as performance, than the jocks and the athletes and stuff. What I need everybody to consider out there is that that's never been the case, and it never will be. Typically speaking, it's the jocks and the athletes, the big masculine men, who have women throwing themselves at them their whole entire lives. It's these men who know how to physically and otherwise please a lady. That's always been the case. It's never, ever, ever been. Nerds aren't better at this. They never have been. But meanwhile, there's propaganda out there to try to tell you that they are, and they haven't been. God bless them. But they're nerds. They have no idea how to please a woman. It's never crossed their mind. They think about other stuff, technological stuff, and things that you might consider very autistic in nature. And I would say, yeah, it probably is. But it has nothing to do with women, right? They're not good with women, both, you know, in the relations category and even talking to them. They don't have experience with it. They don't understand the concept of it. These people, God bless them, they don't understand the concept of it. By definition, they don't. Right? Meanwhile, these very men, in reality, in Silicon Valley, these nerdy, effeminate men, these Mark Zuckerbergs, they're over here talking about, oh, we know what's good for ladies. We know how to protect them. We know how to keep them safe. Actually, no, you never have known how. Only big, strong men have ever known how to keep women safe. All right, y'all are little, effeminate little boys, and you look like lesbians a lot of the time. Let's be real about it. You look very out of shape. You look like you eat Cheetos all the time, and like little ladies. But meanwhile, you have all sort of money. And it's all very unnatural. And you got to understand, your propaganda and things of this nature on the television, your shows and your movies, they're not necessarily going to have very rich nerds. In the Big Bang Theory, none of them are rich. All right, they might have rich parents and things of this nature. They don't have money. These men don't run shit. And especially in Big Bang Theory, the men are absolutely ridiculed by the ladies in every last episode. They're what's called effeminized. They're being ridiculed by the ladies who, for some reason, are having relations with the men in the show. However, this is not indicative of reality ever. It never has been. All right? Just typically speaking, very voluptuous ladies who are being seeked out by all sort of men in society. They're not going to run to the nerd. Ever. It has everything to do with money, and meanwhile the propaganda says it has nothing to do with the money. It has everything to do with the money. And it's very unnatural. It does not make sense. And at the end of the day, the only reason why we bring it up is it does have dire consequences. Very dire consequences. Especially for a young lady, maybe going into college, maybe, you know, just coming from college, she wants to get into the whole Silicon Valley world of producing things. I admire that. God bless her. She can't do it. Right? And the reason she can't do it is because of this world of sexual perversion in which these people, these effeminized men, are claiming to be more enlightened. Like, oh, we're breaking the mold. We're doing something new. No, they're doing nothing new. Everything that they've done has been done so many times that it's uncountable in history. All right? And it's very suicidal in nature, like I said. The women absolutely get exploited in one variation or another. They absolutely get turned out in one way or another. They're absolutely made to pursue prostituting their own selves. And that's encouraged in this scenario. Not only that, very secretive in nature. One of the biggest lessons is it's very secretive in nature. They're very ashamed by what they do, these people. And that's why they keep it a secret. So how much you want to bet that the secrets don't stop there? I'm willing to bet everything I love and have ever known in the world that the secrets do not stop there. There's absolutely homosexual orgies that we've kind of known are pretty regular over in places like the Vatican. Certain places, people got all sort of power and dominance. For some reason, homosexual orgies burst out from time to time. We know that to be a fact. Whether or not we judge that, who cares? Go do your homosexual orgies all day. Oh yeah, you're expanding people's boundaries. Thank you for your service. But not only that, it does go into children, which is already way over the line, but who knows what else? Who knows what else? We're talking about people who they don't never draw a line as to what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. The only line that they'll even hint at is the line of consent. The line of consent. Meanwhile, the very line of consent in these scenarios is all but erased. It's hard to know who's consenting when everybody's doped up on drugs, when you got so much money and power and influence. What is consent at that point? What is it? All right, that's the ball of confusion that is being perpetrated upon us. And somehow, just like that free love movement that the hippies done, like somehow that's being sold to us like, oh man, you got all sort of freedom. Don't you want to do this? Don't you want to do this? No, I don't want to do any of it. It's disgusting, dude. I'm tired of all y'all. I'm tired of all y'all have your damn sexual orgies all over the place. But to think that I won't tell the children, and to think that I won't warn them of your damn perversion. Nah, I'm going to continue to do it, and if I die today, there's got to be continued people telling this to all the children to know better than your disgusting, perverse ways that you think is going under the radar, that you think it's going to get swept under the rug. No, it's not. All right, no, it isn't. And this whole world that these people built for themselves, it will come crumbling down, and it doesn't bring me joy to say that, but it absolutely will, because we're both even in the tribulation, y'all, and I'm gonna holler at y'all later about some more stuff, man. I appreciate it. For everybody who went through the course, this stuff is completely meant to confuse the shit out of us, and it is confusing most people, and it's leading to their destruction. That's unfortunate, but it doesn't have to. We can recognize success, we can recognize peace and happiness when we find it. These people will never experience happiness. It's a damn shame. I weep for them. Anyways, it's January the 4th, 2018. I'll holler at y'all later.